Is the black community cursed? I'd say it's an accumulation of many things. Calling the black community cursed is too simplified. We do suffer a lot of ignorance. I mean, if you've watched any of my videos, I've already pointed out so many of the fallacies that we the traps that we fall into every time. I've said it before. I'll say it again. We're just too nice. That's been our people's problem since ancient times. You go back to Egypt, same problem. We allow people to settle outside of our borders, you know, and those same people come back to raise war against us. Same thing in West Africa. We allow people to come in, bring their Christianity, and then the people bring their guns. South Africa, same thing. And the same exact thing happens with every single black uh, group, culture, people worldwide. I don't think have a particular problem with organization skills. We can organize when we want to. We've done it before. I mean, we didn't get this far without any organizational skills. But it took a decent amount of people with a collective following. But our main problem right now is integration. Everyone everyone that knows anything has said this. Integration completely it just completely ruined us because again, all these problems that we have now, we created all of our own stuff. We had our metalwork, our sciences, our own buildings, our own doctors. We had all that stuff going for us when we finally got our own, quote, freedom again. And then we got obsessed with integration, thinking that whatever a white person had was better than ours, and that's why we still have the same bullcrap problems today. You see, before we became integrated with white people, we're doing pretty well off on our own in Africa. You go read about the West African Empire, the Benin Empire. I mean, we had our own metalwork, doctors, male rites of passage, cities. They had their own wall structures. A lot of this stuff was already burned down, so a lot of it we'll never see. But they still have the artifacts up. I think I've put up several videos of it, or it might be in my favorites. But go look at that. Need I mention Egypt and Nubia? But just Mali and the Benin Empire alone, we do not lack organizational skills, and we do not lack technological skills or anything like that. We had all of that. The problem is we have become colonized. We're colonized people right now. So it, almost everything we do, we almost try to reference it back to white people because our foundation was taken up from us. We had metalwork. We had all the stuff that is the foundation of any civilization. We had it, and then it was all of our scientists, engineers, all that. Imagine right now if somebody came to the United States and just took all of the engineers, scientists, doctors, and and told America you are now colonized by X empire, and exported all of our goods to wherever they wanted to, and exported all of the scientists, engineers, and doctors, and any person with knowledge. They just exported all that out everywhere else and made another third of the people slaves. Imagine what would happen to America in like 100 to 200 years. It looked like a third world country. And that's exactly what happened to Africa. So you have to keep it in historical context when you always look at what happened to our people. Because white people will try to use that to their advantage and say, well, you see, without us white people, you black people can't do anything. Nah, that's not true. We were already doing stuff before they were doing something. We were doing stuff. They they weren't even in existence. If you really want to get critical, but we won't go there. But I agree with you right now. If white people just happen to want to leave and go back to Europe, we would actually be screwed because black people are obsessed with buying stuff. That's about it. That's the one thing we do well is buy stuff. We do not support each other. If a black person were to make his own company with anything, shoes, I mean, look at everything in your house. I've said this before. Everything in your house, just write it down. Your Sony, your TV, your Yamaha stereo, whatever. and I want you to go research any little small piece of that and see if it was created by a black person. And if you can find something created by a black person, then I want you to go research and see did that black person have to go through any other non-black person to get his product to you? And if he did, that is why we have no power. We have no nation, we have no land. So the only thing that we can actually do is come together economically. But we won't do that. We won't come together economically, politically, in any other area because we're too busy comparing ourselves to other people instead of focusing on what our needs should be as a people, as a group, as a nation. I mean, we have no military. What is stopping any group of people that just said, let's go kill black people? They just send troops over. You don't even have to send that many troops. If you want to exterminate black people in America, you can just send out the police force. Send out the police force and a few SWAT teams, and maybe the National Guard. You don't need to send out the full army, and you'd kill all black people in America. You see, the Black Panthers had the right idea. Malcolm X had the right idea. Many of our ancestors had the right idea. Marcus Garvey had the right idea back in the 1800s. We already know, our people have already said what we need to do. We just don't want to do it because there's work involved. Now, see, the Chinese and all the other people, they're reaping the benefits of their people working together. Black people obsessed with buying stuff from other people, not creating anything. And when a black person does, I mean, why are black people buying chicken from KFC? You would think that if we're so obsessed with eating chicken, that black people could just make their own chicken restaurant, and black people would only shop and buy chicken from there. You don't have to tell Asian people to do that when it comes to their noodles and rice. How many black people play Madden? Well, why don't black people make their own computer football game and just support that for once? I mean, we did have Fubu that was mostly owned by us, but then we sold it. We have this problem with stuff being played out. Like Fubu got played out. Now you have never heard of Rolex getting played out. You have never heard of Toyota getting played out. Lexus never gets played out. Levi never gets played out. Sony never gets played out. But when black people make something, it just magically gets played out, and we got to get something new. That is our problem. We do not continually support each other. And until we master these basic skills, we will slowly become exterminated. A people, a species, whatever that fails to adapt becomes exterminated. Mother Nature will take its course. If you can't figure out a way to get to the water hole, you will die. I mean, think of all the black people that are just going to work just today, just this 24 hours alone. Imagine if that manpower was used for the benefit and the well-being of black people worldwide. Amazing things would happen. We'd have Africa, we'd have Jamaica, Haiti, the Americans, the black Americans over here, black Americans in Britain, UK. But nope, all of our hard labor and work goes to the benefit and well-being of other people always, and that is our problem. And the black people who do get rich and we have our Oprahs and Jay-Z's and Will Smith. Really, what have they done to really contribute to help? If just those few that I mentioned got together, they can make their own movie studio. We wouldn't have to go through Hollywood. Black people always complain, how come the black guy always dies in the movie? It's because you don't make the movie. Black people don't make the movie, so you're gonna die in the movie every time. And why would you? I don't expect white people to always be making movies about black people anyway. Make your own damn movie. I don't want a white person making a movie about Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. I mean, really, how are they supposed to understand the cultural impact of that? We're supposed to be making movies about Malcolm X and Martin Luther King and Nat Turner and Marcus Garvey. We're supposed to be making movies about that, not white people. I mean, you don't have to tell a Jew to make a movie about the Holocaust or a video game about the Holocaust or endorse a video game about World War II and the Holocaust. So yeah, we're not so much cursed as just stupidity and ignorance and integration and years of brainwashing. That's all it is. But the knowledge of what to do has been out there for centuries, really. What to do is already known. It's just getting the masses to do it. You have to get them away from their PlayStation 3s, their Xboxes, and their anime in their TV shows, and sit them down and say, look, in order for us to survive as a people, as a community, we have to do this, and we have to start it now because the clock has been ticking. Many people have already stressed in several interviews I've been going on Blog Talk that we're already past critical point. That, I mean, turning around now, we should be already doing it. Otherwise, it's over. We're just riding a falling ship into the ocean. So that's my thoughts on that.